What is going on, everyone? Welcome to the FlipStations channel. My name is Rob, and this is going to be my walkthrough video of the repricing software that I've been using for a year now. That is Profit Protector Pro. Whether you have 20 ASINs or over 100 ASINs, it's essential that you have a repricer that competes with the other sellers on the listing that more than likely have a repricer, so you're not just a manual competing with all these essential softwares, right? So if you are inclined to purchase Profit Protector Pro, I have an extended free trial version below in the description. And if you do enjoy this video and it provides you value, please consider liking, subscribing to the channel. In addition to that, we do have a Discord group, the Amazon FBA FlipStation Discord group with almost 2,000 members. That is free, and it's also in the link below. Hope to see you there. Now, let's get on with the video. All right, so here we are on the Profit Protector Pro main site. Be sure to use the link in the description below for an extended free trial. Now, really intuitive dashboard here. Essentially, I'll go through these tabs here real quick with you, but then in this actual video, I'll go through in depth of the tabs that are more relevant for me and that I use most of the time, mainly because I am more knowledgeable in those tabs. So overall, they have the dashboard, repricing, inventory, activity, bulk inventory, custom strategies, and automations. The ones that I mainly use are the repricing tab and the activity tab. And we'll go through the help tab, which will kind of explain in depth what those repricing strategies actually do. In addition to that, there is the mobile feature, really handy to have an app. Maybe you want to reprice something on the fly. As long as you have your ASIN, SKU, or the description of the product handy, you can do so by changing the min, max, and pricing strategy on the fly on their mobile app. Okay, so excuse me, let's go ahead and log in. And by the way, if you want an extended free trial, make sure to use the link in the description below. It really helps me out and the channel. Okay, so let's sign in here. Okay, like I said earlier, repricing tab is the one that I mainly use. You can search the ASIN and the SKU up here, and it'll go right to the ASIN. Now, when you first put in your ASIN on Amazon Seller Central, it might not show that ASIN yet, so give it some time, and then it'll show that ASIN and SKU on the Profit Protector Pro's dashboard here. All right, so let's just make this as simple as possible because there's a lot of data points and entries that you need to put in, and I don't want it to be overwhelming. So if we look over to the right, we can see that there is a min and a maximum price that you need to input. So excuse me, right now I have the minimum price here at $71.95 and the maximum at $76.99. So essentially the min is the absolute minimum that Profit Protector Pro will set that minimum price to. It won't go anything lower than that. So whatever you set it to, it will go to that absolute minimum price, and whatever you set your maximum to, it'll go to the absolute maximum price. So let's say, for instance, there's nothing here, right? Because if you have a new product, you're not gonna have anything here. So I would set this at $71 and let's say 94 cents, and your maximum at $77, let's say 99 cents. You can click save all prices here or save all prices here, doesn't matter. I'll go ahead and put save all prices. Saving up here, it'll tell you then it's done. It's done saving. Now, after you save it here, you can then move on to your strategy. It won't let you set a strategy until you put your minimum maximum, right? So let's go through the strategies that I use. Now, it's overwhelming the amount of strategies that they have, but let me just go through the ones that I use so it might simplify, it won't be as overwhelming. First off, this is an FBM product. You can see here that FBM is toggled on. This isn't something that you'll toggle. A Profit Protector Pro will already recognize if it's an FBA or FBM product, and it will toggle that on as such. Now, if I go to the toggles here, or the drop down here, you can see they have, what's really impressive for me is they have specific strategies if it's an FBM, an MF, merchant fulfilled item, and then you have your FBA strategies up here on the top. So being that this is an FBM product, let's look at the MF strategies, and then I'll go through the FBA ones as well. So the main ones I use are the MF Aggressive Sales Generator, the MF Balanced Sales Accumulator, and the MF Dynamic Profit Builder. My default one that I always use is this Balanced Sale Accumulator, which will essentially prioritize both sales velocity and profit in combination, right? So you set it, and then it'll show that that's the one you've set. Once you have your min, max strategy set, you go ahead and save. And then it'll save, right? And then also one thing that you need to do that I was kind of oblivious to until I realized it wasn't repricing. This toggle right here, you can turn it on or off. Make sure you turn it on if that is in fact what you want your ASIN to do, to be able to start the repricing algorithm that Profit Protector does. And that's really it, right? Let me go through the other strategies here. And there's a help tab, which will go more in depth than what I'm just saying. If you want to look into all these other strategies, it'll go to, it'll define each one of those various strategies that you might be inquisitive about. All right, so again, just to juxtapose these strategies, we have all our MF, right? The aggressive sales generator will prioritize sales velocity over profit. The dynamic profit builder will prioritize profit over sales velocity. And there might be various reasons why you may want to do that, right? Maybe there's just a few sellers on that listing and you want to prioritize your profit than sales. But maybe there's a lot of sellers, and in that event, you want to be more aggressive with your sales and try to get as many sales as possible while compromising some profit. Now, if it's an FBA listing, you go up here, and it's essentially similar strategies. They're just more geared toward FBA. So we have our balanced sales accumulator again. We have our aggressive sales generator again, and we have our dynamic profit builder. Again, same concept, just for different sales platforms, right? So you have our aggressive sales generator, which will prioritize profit. Balance will have the best of both worlds, sales velocity and profit. And you have your dynamic profit builder, which will prioritize your profit over sales velocity. Other ones that you might be interested in is also your match buy box. Although I do believe the balanced sales accumulator will take that into account as well. But if you want to if you want your strategy to make a concerted effort into matching the buy box, you can go ahead and do the match buy box selection. You also have your penny under, penny over. I don't really like using that one because it could perhaps devastate a listing. So in my opinion, go with these on the top, or if you want to match buy box, go with that as well. Okay, so that kind of takes care of the different strategies. There's also automation. The automation feature is useful if it's something that you prefer to do. I don't really tend to use it, but essentially, if you want to set up an automation that will essentially tell Profit Protector Pro, hey, when it gets to a certain level, I want you to switch the strategy from this to that. That's essentially what the automation does. And you can go to the tab here on the left to create your own automations. Again, that's not something that I use. I try to simplify what I do on these on the Profit Protector Pro database. So again, it's up to you. Now, moving on from here, let's see. You can put a break-even price as well based on your own cost of goods. That's something that's going to adhere to each of your individual ASINs. Perhaps I do have my virtual assistant put in the break-even price because he's already put in the cost of goods, so he knows what the break-even price is. And it's if you are manually setting these prices on the Repricer, maybe down the line, a week after you set this up, you want to know what that break-even price was, right? You've gone through so many days, you might have forgotten. So it's good to know what that break-even price is when you're setting up your minimum maximum, or you're updating your minimum maximum down the line. I know some people that set their minimum right at their break-even price, so they can just kind of set it and forget it. Personally, I like to go through my ASINs and update the minimum maximum at least on a weekly level. Because things are always changing, right? The listing is ever changing with sellers and price and the volatile way it is. So I personally put my min at a certain ROI and my max at a certain ROI based on the listing itself. So again, this is always subjective to how your strategies are proposed here. Once you have all that set up, you just hit save prices, and that's essentially all that I use when I'm setting up my Repricer on an ASIN or SKU level. Now, moving on, another panel that I enjoy using is this activity feature. So the activity feature is very intuitive again and very useful. So if you look to the right here, the calculation decision is essentially what Profit Protector Pro is telling you that it wants to do on your ASINs, and maybe it'll give you an idea of any sort of changes that you might want to put, right? So let's go through this first line. It says, your chosen strategy wants to go lower than your minimum price. So we're sitting at your minimum price. So this price, it's requesting you to perhaps change your minimum because perhaps the price is tanked on the listing. Maybe there's some more sellers on your listing. So it's suggesting going lower in order for you to capture more sales or match the buy box. And these are all right now essentially saying the same thing. There are also situations where it wants you to increase the maximum, perhaps the price, you can maximize more profit. So it'll also tell you to increase your maximum price. This way, this software is so intelligent that it's telling you what to do with your minimum maximum based on its own calculations. So you can go back to the repricing feature and update your minimum maximum price in that event. Really intuitive and really intelligent for it to be able to do that, and something that I really was impressed by. So moving on, the only other thing that I tend to use is this help section here, and you can go to the strategies explained. And as I was alluding to you earlier, it'll essentially tell you what it is that these different strategies actually do and define them. Like this is balanced sales accumulator. It's still pretty aggressive in that it will try to capture as much sales velocity as possible, but it'll also favor sales over your profit. And again, all these are here for you to indulge and kind of give you a better idea of what these strategies you're setting actually do. Really good feature here. They also have frequently asked questions, training videos, and I'll give you a walkthrough. All right. And then finally, there is the dashboard that you can go. Well, before I go to the dashboard, again, this is the automation section. If you want to create a new automation, you can do so here. And then if you want to make custom strategies, you can also do so here. Again, without being too overwhelmed with everything, again, I just usually just go to the repricing tab, the activity tab, and I will sometimes peek over to the dashboard. But the dashboard essentially just gives you an overview of how your business is doing and how the Profit Protector Pro repricing software is. Let's go check it out here. So it'll tell you how many of your ASINs need a minimum maximum, which ones are at buy box and whatnot. It'll kind of give you a pie chart of things that need minimum maximum. This one essentially, it's mainly because I have a lot of listings that are zero stock that I just really need to delete. I need to clean it up. But it'll tell you all the items that are at buy box at its lowest price, if it's at a minimum level and at the maximum level. So nice overview of your catalog as a whole on this dashboard feature. But again, mainly, I just go ahead and search the listing of the relevant ASIN or SKU that I want to update, or I'll just go straight to the repricing and go ahead and update the pricing overall. And again, you really want to have a repricer right from the beginning, even if you have 10 to 20 ASINs, right? You are essentially competing with other sellers that have this intelligent repricing software, whatever they use, competing with you. So you're essentially competing against a bunch of computers, right? A bunch of software, intelligent software. So you want to be as competitive as possible, right? So even if you have 20 listings, maybe you're like, I can just go in and update myself manually. Well, as soon as you set that manual price, if you're competing with maybe even 5 other sellers, they all have their repricers going. So if you change a price, all theirs are going to be responding to your price change. So at the very least, you can get the basic plan and just set your repricer with various items that you have so you can compete and stay competitive. And it's very important to not really set it and forget it. Go back a few days later and check it out and update your repricing. To minimize how much you go back, that is why I know some people that will set their minimum at their buy cost. So they just kind of break even essentially. But me personally, it's subjective. I have my minimum set at a certain ROI that I want to meet. Now, I do have a virtual assistant that I delegate a lot of these tasks to, so that makes it a little easier for me. But if you're a little time constrained, maybe that is something that you like to do. But it is solely up to you.